What's up, guys? Big news in day one of free agency. I just wanted to come here to talk about the Philadelphia 76ers. They officially signed Paul George to a Supermax contract, 4 years. They also extended Tyrese Maxey's contract. I think this is a really good move for the 76ers. It's definitely getting better. They got rid of Tobias Harris. He went over to the Detroit Pistons where he used to play. I also think that's good for the Pistons because they add some age of experience to that young Pistons team that desperately needs that experience. But moving on to Paul George, how he partners up with Joel Embiid. But he's going to be that spot-up shooter, great shot creator. The issue with Paul George is that he hasn't really performed that well in the playoffs, in talking that type of sense. But in the regular season, Paul George is awesome. There's been a couple different phases that Paul George has went through, talking about like Pandemic P, all those different nicknames that he's got. But now he's going to be partnering up with Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid. Since Tyrese Maxey got that contract extension, it's going to be nice to see that good trio. You got Tyrese Maxey dribbling up the ball, hitting some crossovers with his high ethical dribble moves. And then Joel Embiid going to do his usual post-up scoring, scores at will. He's around there with like Jokic scoring and just can't pass as well. But, you know, his scoring is awesome and legit. He might be a little more athletic than Jokic. But Paul George, he's going to be there. We'll see how far the 76ers make it. But since looking at the history of Paul George in the playoff standards, I know Kawhi Leonard was injured a little bit in that Clippers playoff run this year, considering that's why they got eliminated by the Mavericks. And Paul George is mostly tried to get the Clippers up by himself, because Kawhi Leonard always dealing with injury issues. But I don't think the 76ers are going to make it to the NBA Finals, considering history of Paul George. I know they're going to be a good team, a good trio, and also good that they re-signed Kelly Oubre Jr., great defender, 3-and-D guy. He can be a little more consistent. That would help out the team tremendously. It's all those little steps you take to help make the team better. Those little mistakes that you fix goes a long way, helping the team capture the win, whether it's boosting up confidence, boosting up those little mechanics, and getting all the right steps in to make sure your game is as legit as it can be to get to 100%. It's going to be awesome to see Paul George and Joel Embiid. It's definitely going to be a fun team to watch. Paul George hitting them threes. He's been a lethal shooter in his day. I mean, he's getting up there in age now, so he's not going to be athletic as he used to be. He's still going to get some dunks in for sure. I see him shooting the ball a lot more with the 76ers. They're going to have him replace he's going to replace Tobias Harris, as well as a little more, and he's going to provide more than Tobias Harris, of course, because Tobias Harris was not really that good, but he's a good player. And people say he was efficient and consistent. There were some moments where he could be a little inconsistent. So hopefully that getting Paul George will help them be a little more efficient and consistent, because that's exactly what they need. Paul George is definitely a better basketball player than Tobias Harris, providing his years of NBA experience with the Indiana Pacers. He was a superstar on that team. Then going over to the Oklahoma City Thunder, then the Los Angeles Clippers. Now he's with the Philadelphia 76ers. And he's always, besides being with the Pacers, he's always had a star with him, whether it was Russell Westbrook, Kawhi Leonard, James Harden. Now he has Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid. But I really wouldn't, and Tyrese Maxey is an all-star in the making. He's got a lot of potential to grow. So I think for the 76ers, in all honesty, this is going to help progress Tyrese Maxey a bunch. Because Paul George being there and Tyrese Maxey seeing what Paul George does on the defensive end and the offensive end is going to help bring his game to a whole new level. Because Tyrese Maxey learning from an older, developed player with the superstar ability of Paul George, it's only going to make the team better and Tyrese Maxey better. He was already amazing in that playoffs, especially when Joel Embiid was hurt. He was still carrying the front load for the 76ers, even with his ankle. So I give Joel Embiid a lot of credit. it's going to be a hardcore team. The real question is who's going to be that second star for the Philadelphia 76ers. Is it going to be Tyrese Maxey or Paul George? We already know the front star is going to be Joel Embiid. But seeing that's who's exactly is that second star on that team is going to be very interesting, because Tyrese Maxey and Paul George both know to perform at the highest levels, but Paul George has more experience. So we'll see what happens, what the future holds. That LA Clippers blockbuster trade never panned out. That injury Paul George was once in that blockbuster trade. Send the Clippers. People went crazy about it. People thought the Clippers were going to win that championship. It never ended up happening, all because of injury issues, which was a big downgrade for the Clippers. So it's going to suck for the Clippers next season. They lost the star player in Paul George. So, I mean, seeing that dynasty end, and also the Warriors dynasty, which lasted a long time, it's crazy what the NBA has come to nowadays. But I'll see you guys next time. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to subscribe on the 2K.